Hey friend, today I'm going to show you how to write beautiful melodies and also beautiful chords for these melodies so you can start writing them in your own songs as well. My name is Leo Loretti. I'm a producer and owner of Abstract Music Lab, and I'm stoked to be here at a Production Music Live's channel. Writing melodies and cool riffs can be really hard, but if you follow a few guidelines that I'm going to show to you today, you can achieve some amazing results. Today we're going to deep dive into 3 essential ideas, so let's dive right in. We're going to get started here by listening to the progression that we're working with today. And I want to point out a few things to you. Let's get started here by listening only to the lead first. And you can see that we're just playing one note. It's a syncopated note, so it's not on the grid. You can see that there are some notes here that are not falling exactly on the kick. This is the kick, this is another kick. With a kick. This creates rhythm to the song, so having your lead a bit off-grid is sometimes good to create a bit of that groove and that syncopation in the sound. If you add a bit of sidechain as well. And you can see that the notes were just playing one note and also a passing note, as you can see in this note over here. What is this note? If we look at the progression that we're playing of F minor, we're playing the second and the third, but here's where things get interesting. So let's open the chords here. Sidechain off. Even though we are in the scale of F minor, you can see that F minor is the second note of the progression. The first note is this E flat major. And then we have here this D flat as well. What are we playing essentially? Even though we are in the scale of F minor, we're playing E flat mixolydian, which is essentially the same scale, but starting in a different point. Instead of starting in the F minor, we're starting in the E flat, which is already a nice takeaway. If you're using F minor, you don't necessarily need to start your chord progression in F minor. You can start in other notes as well and use variations of the scale of F minor. Now look at the relationship of the lead and the chord progression. If we look essentially now, instead of playing the second and the third of F minor, we're playing the fourth and the third of E flat mixolydian. I always love starting my leads and using the third as the main hook of the lead. So that's another thing that you can take from this. You don't necessarily need to use your main notes or the E flat mixolydian or the F as the root of your lead as well. You can use the third, the fourth, sometimes the second as well. For example, listen to how this would sound if we used the tone. The rhythm's still nice, but we lose the complement of the third into the harmony as we can listen again. Much nicer, right? And then, for things not to be repetitive, you can do variations. Even changing here. Now, if this is too complex to you, just take away a few things. First, you don't have to start in the root note of your chord progression. So if you choose F minor, you can start in the second or the fourth or the fifth, play around and see whatever fits the best. Second thing, your lead progression doesn't need to be super complex. It can be made of a one-note melody. But using the third of your progression is sometimes a cool option because the third adds a cool harmonic to the chord progression. Third, add a variation to your lead because if you're using a one-note melody, having a variation makes it not be so repetitive. And fourth, make sure to make your chords super fat by using this tone, fifth, tone, third structure and using these passing notes to add a bit of flavor, unpredictability, and also less cheesiness in your sound. We're going into the 3-note riff, which essentially we have 3 notes in the riff instead of just one now. But now let's talk about the chords first. So I'm going to mute this first. We're in the A minor scale, but you can see that we start in C major. So we're going from C to D and then back to A. So then we're landing in A instead of starting in A. This is also another way that it's really cool to use your chord progressions, because instead of being so predictable and starting with the A, you land on the A and give this resolution, which is also really cool. The first and the second chord are just a power chord, as you can see it over here. But now we're going to add the lead, and this is going to complement a lot more, because in the lead we're using the E minor chord pretty much, we're playing E, the 5th and the 3rd of E. And if we look here, this is pretty much the 3rd of the C. And that's why, even though this is a minor chord, which can be a little bit sad, when we play with C, it gives a happy vibe to it. If we were playing something different, like for example the A, it can be a bit sad right away. But now, since we're using the C, it gives this happy vibe. And since we're using this power chord, it leaves a little bit more open, a little bit more space in the chord progression as well. But afterwards we land on the A, which is composed of a tone, 5th, tone, and 3rd again. Now, talking about the notes of the lead, as you can see, again, we're talking about something that if we mute this here, it's pretty similar to what we had before. But we've added 2 additional notes to get a little bit more of that chord. And if we look at what we're playing here, we're essentially playing notes that complement the chord that we just had. For example, here, we're playing the E that didn't have, we're playing also the B that didn't have, which is the 7th of B. And the same thing happens over here with these additional notes. You can see that not necessarily they were in the scale before. And they complement because they bring a bit more energy into your chord. They bring a bit more harmonics that weren't there in the beginning. In the D case, it brings a 2nd, a 4th, and a 6th. And again, we're not starting with the root of the progression of A minor, we're starting with C major to give that happy vibe into it, and then we're moving to D, which is the 4th, and then we're moving back to A. Now, one cool thing that you can do to spice up your chords is add a bit of modulation in the chord progression as well. So instead of always being in A minor, for example, in the last note of the last chord, you can spice things up a little bit. Listen, for example. What just happened? Instead of using the C, we're using C sharp. And we're making this A minor into an A major. As you can see, A minor, A major. This is a trick that many producers use, and I've seen being used a lot, especially by producers like deadmau5 in his breakthrough song Ghosts and Stuff, which was a major hit. He used the same technique over there. Triplets are always a great way to add a bit of variation and interest into your groove. Ben Bohmer's and Niels Hoffman's tracks Breathing is a perfect example if you want to listen to it. If you want to try it by yourself, you can simply activate triplets by pressing Command or Ctrl 3, and you can see that you activate the triplets grid. You can also right click and also press over here triplet grid, which again shows the Command or Ctrl 3, and this goes and makes your grid a bit more into a triplet grid. In this example, we're playing a G minor scale, and as you can see, we're playing G, then we're playing the 5th of G, and then we're playing the 3rd of G. But you can see that there is a variation of tone and tone an octave up. Tone, tone an octave up. And you can see that the 5th and the 3rd are playing an octave apart of the initial tone. And this is being done to create a bit of variance and to create a bit of space into the notes, as you can listen. This makes the chord progression a bit more open and a bit more stretched out, and you can listen to how it would sound if it wasn't as stretched out as this. It wouldn't be as nice, it wouldn't feel as nice, and that's why we're doing it this way. So, as it is. in the second chord of this progression, we're just pretty much copying what we have, duplicating, and putting a note down. Just to create a downward feeling into the progression that creates a kind of a sad feeling. But to break this pattern, instead of going down and continue to be predictable, going down and down, which can lead you to a more sad progression, we're going up, making it a bit more hopeful, as you can listen here. Notice here though that we're not playing the same notes. If we copy, you can see that we're playing different notes, because if we played these notes, it could feel a bit too far apart. So instead of making the melody grow as much as what the bass is growing, we're keeping the melody close to the initial root so it doesn't feel as distant. For example, if we made it as distant, it could be a bit too aggressive for the beginning. And we're just finishing up, we're increasing the chord over here, so we're going up again. But you can see that even though we're going up, the chord feels a bit more close together. And the chord feels a bit more close and less hopeful because of the notes that we're playing. Again, we're not just copying everything, we're going down with the lead progression, which are these two top notes over here. You can see that the top notes, instead of being this one, now it's the tone, the fifth, and this over here, which is again the third. But you can see that it doesn't have that bass jump before. And you can see how the chord feels a little bit more closed off. But why are we doing this? We're doing this to make the distance from this chord to the home chord, which is the G, less intense and more close together, as you can see it over here. But one thing that I love doing in my chord progressions is that in the second progression of the chord progression, so in the second 8 bar, you can see that I have a variation with the lead, as you can listen over here. Now we're going with how we thought about this going over here, because now that we've introduced the idea, we can move to something a bit more aggressive and something a bit more emotional, as it would be like this. And we just bring the top note down just to create a more sad feeling into this ending. And if you want, you can even do variations like this. Even doing more variations over here. To bring it closer to your home chord, which is the G minor chord. If you want to find MIDI progressions like this, you can check over here in the description below the Infinite Dreams Volume 6, which is a MIDI pack with 110 premium MIDI files for house, progressive house, melodic house, and also deep house that you can start using in your own tracks. And I hope that you liked the video today. If you liked the video, hit the like button. If you loved it, subscribe to the channel. And this is Leo already from Abstract Music Lab signing off. Ciao.